Hello, everyone. Welcome to part 8 of the 10-part installment series of misconceptions about OCD. As I said in the previous videos, we kind of have done a lot of videos talking about some of the common misconceptions when it comes to OCD recovery, ranging from balance and lifestyle factors, from how to use acceptance, agreement versus acceptance, all the way down to how exposures can become compulsive. And today, part 8, I want to talk about how you don't need to cut certain things out of your life unless you have a serious problem, like, you've suffered with alcoholism and stuff like that. So during OCD recovery, one of the most important things about OCD recovery is learning balance with your lifestyle factors. Now, this is going to be difficult depending on the person. Now, when you're suffering with chronic OCD, we tend to be very much black and white individuals based on the disorder and maybe other cultural, environmental factors in the way that you see the world, because our perceptions basically shape everything. So for someone like myself, I had to practice balance a little bit more than, say, the average person. Rob and I have noticed about myself, and something I had to kind of develop over the last couple of years, is not going a 0 to 100 and really kind of accepting that balance might be something I struggle with for the rest of my life. Doesn't mean I can't make improvements, but I might backslide with balance a little bit easier than, say, someone who doesn't struggle with balance. And people are always like, well, maybe because it's your ADHD, and it doesn't, that really matters to me. What matters is, what do I have control over, and what can I try and improve as I move forward throughout my recovery over the years? So let's talk about caffeine for a little bit. I see a lot of, and before we go any further, one of the number one reasons why people talk about cutting out the things I'm going to talk about is because based off fear of fear. Now, when fear of fear is present, aka the fear of relapsing or the fear of, say, caffeine making your anxiety worse, it can't make your OCD worse in the grand scheme of things like people think. It might make you feel anxious in the beginning, but long term, when you learn how to balance caffeine, whether that's pre-workout, energy drinks, black coffee, whatever it is that you use, caffeine pills, moving towards a balanced approach and not being black and white is the way to go. So let's talk about caffeine first. I see a lot of people talking about how they're never going to drink caffeine again, and that if they avoid caffeine forever, then they'll recover from OCD. While I understand where they're coming from, this is a misconception. OCD recovery, robust OCD recovery, unconditional self-life, other acceptance, facing all exposures, is a balance between philosophical outlooks on your life and having a balance in your life. Not swaying too far in either direction, living kind of like right in the middle, maybe being pushed to one side here and there, but not hitting those extremes. And if you hit those extremes, and maybe a severe situation where, say, maybe your parents die in a car accident, you can be upset and frustrated and probably would freak out in the beginning, but use the tools that you understand to bring that back. Now, caffeine, when people are like, it's going to make your OCD worse, you cannot recover from chronic anxiety. Any of the anxiety-based disorders, especially OCD, if you consume caffeine, is based off fear of fear. And this is a problem. Someone like myself, Daisy, of course, someone like myself, I had to really balance that because I was really over consuming caffeine. And I drink caffeine probably a little bit more than what's necessary. Today, example, it's 11:30 in the morning. I've had a black coffee, maybe 70 milligrams of caffeine, in a Monster, 160 milligrams of caffeine. So I've had 250 milligrams of caffeine. I mean, do I need the Monster? No. Do I enjoy the Monster? Yes. Am I going to drink any more caffeine throughout the day? No. Where before I would drink 6, 8 caffeine sources throughout the day, including pre-workout, high caffeine pre-workout. Some of the caffeine in the pre-workout was 425 milligrams per scoop. So in other terms, it was like drinking 6 cups of coffee at once in 8-ounce black coffee. So it was a problem. So I had to learn balance up and down. There was a point where I needed to cut caffeine completely in the beginning because Rob needed to teach me that it was okay to not have caffeine for a while. And that was an important part. Not everyone will do that. The next one I want to talk about is alcohol. Now, if you suffer from alcoholism or you really struggle with alcohol, this is not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is a post I saw the other day. This is just an example of someone saying they were going to stop drinking alcohol because they knew that when they drank and got drunk, it could be a trigger for forgetting if they cheated on their boyfriend for ROCD. This is a problem. Now, I understand where you're coming from, and many people in ROCD probably do this. if they're afraid of cheating, that they will just never drink again because what if I black out? Well, that's the risk you're going to have to take. And it's those black and white, 0 to 100, going from moderately drinking to never drinking again. And then what people will do is the other side. They'll maybe drink every day for 2 weeks to try to prove to themselves, well, they can drink. And this is a problem as well. You just want to go about an approach with balance. If you like having 3-4 glasses of wine when you go out once a week, you don't just stop that. We're not talking about, again, alcoholism. We're talking about balance. If you can't balance alcohol, just like I can't balance some substances in my life, I don't consume those substances because of the potential personality issues I have with that. But alcohol is something I've never had a problem balancing. So, and I've had some thoughts maybe in the beginning where, if I just avoid certain things and it will make my anxiety not as bad, but that was avoidance, and long-term avoidance is not the issue, not the answer. Again, we're not talking about if you struggle. The third thing I want to talk about is social media. What I notice is a lot of people, if you're working with OCD recovery and you're in the WhatsApp groups, which is a service that you can get if you attend a one-to-one, a group call, or a seminar, or any of the other paid services, which have a wide range of prices, is people will run because they've been told that they're using it too much. That balance needs to come from you. As someone who's a moderator, and I make videos for the channel, I attend group calls, I run my own business, a balanced approach is important in my life, and also accepting that I might get the balance wrong from time to time. Everyone's going to get the balance wrong. Anyone who's telling you that they get balance right all the time is lying to you. They are not telling the truth. Nobody on the planet, because of natural human fallibility, gets balance correct all the time. So even if you use a monk, you're like, oh, well, Buddhist monk is balanced. Are they, though? They're meditating 15 hours a day. That doesn't sound like balance to me. That sounds like obsession. Think about what I just said. Rewind that back. I'm not saying it's an unhealthy thing, but some people have to accept that balance might not be part of their lives. There's multiple avenues talking about this. So you don't have to run from social media, and social media isn't inherently bad. Social media has been one of the best things humanity has ever gotten. Allows me to do this, connect us to people like Momin. Momin lives in Pakistan. I live in Colorado. We would have never met without the internet. That's super cool. Momin and I are great friends. I love Momin. I consider Momin a great friend of mine. And, it's hard to see that when you're really struggling because your immediate thought is let's just crush out all social media. Let's run from OCD groups. We're not saying you have to stay in there forever, but maybe take a couple weeks and think about like, hey, maybe, I've done what I want to do and I'm going to go off on my own from that. That's completely fine. It's those immediate black and white jumps from using the group 30 minutes a day to going, I can't use the group anymore, and leaving, and then coming back in 2 months and doing the same thing. And you're kind of stuck in that rat race. So everything I talk about, the three things, caffeine, alcohol, or other substances such as smoking marijuana, and social media usage and the internet. A lot of people say you can't do any of these things. Again, we're not talking about substance abuse or alcoholism. We're talking about balance and why you can participate in these things and learn how to balance them across along the way in recovery. So thank you so much for watching this video. This one was very important to me because I really did think for a while I was never going to be able to drink caffeine again, and that's certainly not true. So don't forget to like, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this. Comment down below. Let me know some things you might have struggled with, and we'll have some good discussions. Thank you so much. Have a great day.